Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work.
Like
It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
What's up, Fantasy D-Gens? Welcome in on a rainy Wednesday evening, and you're spending your evening with a couple of jerks. Well, a few jerks. Myself, I'm Anson, and we got Brandon Kaz over here. How are you, buddy?
Fantastic. Prime time with the Joiks. Week 1 doesn't get much better.
Shout out to Joik Bell, and shout out to my man Brendan working the sound booth today.
What's up, guys?
And, of course, we got our guy Ryan making us look real good. He started off his first week on the Braylon Edwards show. Pretty awesome to see him over there. Hopefully you guys were with us all day long through our full slate. But today, guys, tonight, it's all about fantasy football. And, of course, we are powered by our friends over at fantasypoints.com. Ryan's going to show you how you can get 10% off a membership to the premier fantasy analytics site. Man, tell them more about it, Brandon.
Yeah, so this week I noticed they launched their AI tool, and I tested it out a bit. Pretty sweet to aggregate search results, customize outputs. Really excited to have Joe Dolan on later to have him elaborate on some more of the functionality. It's pretty cool.
Well, Joe Dolan, as he mentioned, will be joining us. Joe Dolan is the owner and editor-in-chief over at fantasypoints.com. If you haven't checked them out, you've got to. They have given me a leg up in my 6 drafts, including
6, Anson?
6. How about you? How many you got?
You know what? I'm going to keep it classified, but I'm going to say that
Your girl's watching, isn't she?
it's more than 4. It's more than 4, but less than 7.
Okay. Well, yeah, I exploded, man. 2 years ago, I was at like 2, then 3 and 4, now 5 and 6. But I got to say, this Fantasy Jerks draft was one of the most competitive drafts I have ever been a part of.
Facts.
And, yeah, it was tough. And we are going to break it down for you guys today. Spend the first 20 or so minutes talking about it. We'll talk about the teams, and we are going to rank them starting with, well, the projected score for week 1.
We got to use projections, but a little bit for the everybody at home. The Joiks at home is we're going to use this as a medium to really talk about football. We want to incentivize you guys to join in, do the Joiks League next year, and we're going to grow it from there. But we're going to use this as a means to talk about your league at home by talking through a lot of the players, by talking through draft strategy, by talking about the do's and don'ts, and by talking about the who's and who aren't. So.
And we're not going to be covering the easy topics like Saquon should be in your lineup.
Or you should start Christian McCaffrey week 1, Anson.
Yeah, we know these kinds of things. Make sure you're getting your Super Chats in. The Super Chats will be guaranteed to read. Brendan will also be looking at the other chats for a little question and answer. If he likes some of them, he might hold on to them. Maybe he'll even shout them out while we're here. But we're going to kick things off with the lowest ranked projection out of our 12 teams. And, well, it belongs to a guy that's very near and dear to us here at Woodward. He is Super Chat public enemy, public friend, number 1. We know him and we love him. Dante 151, a.k.a. the Gridiron Gang. And we'll get that graphic up for you in just a moment.
You know what? I didn't have a major problem with this draft, actually. Laporta, if he hits, I think that there's a good chance that this team hits too. Went second quarterback a little bit earlier, but he's got some defensive guys, and he's got an opportunity to really get going with some momentum. But he's got some big name players in there. Gibbs, T. Higgins. No wide receivers. I didn't know that was a build type, but it's a differentiation strategy, and winning sometimes takes a differentiation strategy.
So let me ask you, is he a playoff team?
No, I don't think he's a playoff team, but I think that he could surprise some teams this year.
All right, Dante. You know, I'm looking at it, and you went a little early with the defenders. I hope that they work out for you. You got 2 defensive linemen. And for those of you that don't know, because you're not in the league, I didn't go easy on these guys. I threw in IDP there. 1 defensive lineman, 1 linebacker, 1 D-back. I think a lot
Anthony,
of...
have I ever told you that I hate IDP?
I know. You've told me...
He's trying to make me a fan.
You told me about 4 times in the middle of the draft, in fact.
In the middle.
So to me,
yeah.
IDP, it's random, but the thing I hate the most is if I got Percy Harvin, I'm dating myself there. If I got Percy Harvin on my team, who was a return specialist at the time, and he catches a touchdown, but he also returns a touchdown, why the hell does it go to the guy who has the defensive special teams? Drove me nuts. So for me, I'm a big believer in a guy like, well, the kid, who's the kid that just got drafted number 2 overall?
Hunter?
Thank you. Travis Hunter went real early in this draft. 2nd round. Earliest you're going to see him go anywhere. But, of course, you get those points as an offender and as a defender. And I think it's really, really important to just double down. And I know it's a little late because you've all drafted your teams. But you got to know your scoring. You got to know your settings. Absolutely crucial. I think we all go in assuming every league is the same, and they are not. But we will move on to the next one. Number 11, the Bizzle Boys, coming in and, not amazing numbers here. To give you where we were at with Dante's team, Dante's coming in with, how many points is that?
I had him at 133.
135.21. The top score is 154. So there's a variance of 20 points here. Bizzle Boys, though, what do you think about this squad here?
Yeah, so honestly, a lot of Lions. So
Might be a Lions fan.
yeah, might be. I'm gonna say definitely.
Monty in the 2nd, a little early for you?
Very early.
Yeah, it's early.
Jamo in the 3rd, maybe a little early?
Yeah, and Hutchinson, and then even Hawk. But you got some injury-prone guys. A little bit late on the quarterback.
He did well with Herbert and May, though.
Yeah, and honestly, great quarterbacks with some great upside.
Michael Pittman in the 14th round.
I love that.
I love that. I think Pittman was a deal for everybody all over the place. Bizzle Boys, playoff team?
If Bizzle Boy makes the playoffs, I'll buy him a beer.
There you go, Bizzle. You got a free beer out of the deal.
If Bizzle Boy makes the playoffs, the Lions might have a good chance at the Super Bowl with all the Lions.
I would say so. If he makes the
I
playoffs,
think we're all hoping for Bizzle to make the playoffs.
yeah, no doubt.
I think the
Bizzle, we
Lions-
are pulling for you, buddy.
I think the Lions are going to make the Super Bowl regardless.
I'm all day long.
Whether or not Bizzle does this or not.
6.5 days a week, I believe they're Super
all
Bowl
about
bound.
Bizzle.
Post game after a Lions show, it's SOL Anson. You already know that, guys. So
Ted Anson.
maybe a playoff team. I think he's going to need 20 sacks out of our guy Hutchinson if that is the case. We're going to move on to team number 10. Team number 10, near and dear to our hearts. This team is owned by our very owned Ryan in the sound booth. Our TD Ryan today with the 10th place Anchor Bay 7. I got to be honest with you. This is one where I look at it and I'm like, actually, I'm not really sure I'm on board with their low scoring. Puka, Bowers, Kyron, Cook. Love that start.
That's a great
See
start.
that, Ryan? Does this make you feel better? I had a little star down there for a potential playoff team because there's some things that could break right for you, buddy. And I love it. Puka Bowers, I've got that combo in quite a couple, in 3 leagues this year, 2 leagues. Love it. Great way to start. Kyron, Cook, great kind of like zero hero RB. Draft picks to get. Don't have a lot of receiver upside, but this isn't like a big full PPR, so that's fine.
Jaden Higgins and Keon Coleman are intriguing.
Keon Coleman's very
Absolutely.
intriguing. He's one of my sleepers in this year's draft. I think You've had some Bills this year come out and say that he's taken that next step.
Is
as
he
a
the number
player.
one there?
I think he is the number one.
That would be amazing.
For sure.
Because Khalil Shakir fills the role of one, but he's not an RB or a wide receiver one. So if Keon can take that step, and Amari Cooper's still there too?
No, Amari
No,
Cooper's on the
Amari's-
Raiders.
Yeah,
Back on the
Amari's a
Raiders.
Raider, but right now
Again,
Keon
huh?
Coleman, this just in, Keon Coleman has a groin and is questionable for week 1.
He's got a good groin. Let's move on to the next one. Anchor Bay, Ryan might be in the playoffs.
Real quick, I want to hit something
Okay,
though,
go
because
ahead.
he's got a Anson. You glossed over 2 big picks that Ryan made. One Rome Adunze and one DeAndre Swift.
Double Bears.
You're one to talk, Brendan. Yeah, we'll
we
get
can move on.
we'll
We
get
can-
to
We'll get
him
there,
and his
and I have my
quarterback
explanations, so.
soon enough. But yeah, I love the Odunze pick. C.J. Stroud is early in the 6th round, but I think that C.J. Stroud, he has that bounce back. What he did his rookie year and then the sophomore slump, I think they're largely healthy in the wide receiver room. You add in a Jaden Higgins, one of my favorite wide receivers in the draft. Their running game is questionable, so they may just have to air it out. C.J. Stroud could be a real bargain, even though I think he spent a little early on him. You Stroud fan or no?
I am a Stroud fan, but I have a hard time with guys that don't run, and he doesn't run.
He does not.
He has to go really efficient on the passing side, which could happen. I mean, he's got the weapons, he's got the team. So
The offensive line is the biggest concern
Could make
for
us-
me there.
It
Could be
is.
the worst in the entire
It
league.
is. It truly is.
yeah, they trade Tunzel, which not a fan of. Trading your left tackle.
No,
That's the second
especially
time
a Pro Bowler.
they've done that twice, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe they're ready to go.
We'll see
We'll
what
see.
C.J. Stroud and the Texans are able to do this year. But moving on,
Maybe McCarthy will carry him though.
Well, I should have said something about McCarthy, but I think all of our fans here are quite tired of Anson going on and on and on about J.J. McCarthy. But let's go on to 9th place. I'm not exactly sure what your name is, Xavier. I see the X at the end for you. No Turk Crazy X. I like that helmet we put together for him, though. What do you think about his draft, my friend?
So with this one, I was a little thrown on this one. So, Anson, I want you to start on this one.
Okay, No Turk Crazy X, the X Squad. He got auto drafted. Had some auto picks put in there, and I think that didn't quite help him. He went Josh Allen, number 3 overall. Now, this is a league that's weighted towards quarterbacks. You get 6 points per touchdown on the ground and in the air. Not big penalties for interceptions. So a guy like Josh Allen with his legs, with his arm, there's no reason why he isn't the number 1 scoring guy in fantasy.
He has a pairing with Shakir later. So I love a little bit of a stack. McConkey, Achane. If Achane can shoulder the load and also Josh Allen can shoulder the load, I could see this team making the playoffs. They're kind of like one of my fringe possible playoff teams.
I like his team. I don't like the 4 straight defensive backs selected in, round 14 through 17. Might have been more auto pick, but either way, we will see, and we're very happy to have Xavier in the league with us.
X Squad, stay tuned for the waiver wire portion of the show.
Yeah, you might need some of that, my friend. You might need some of that. So
It's for all the auto pick folks.
it's exactly
the draft
for
goes
that.
faster than you expect.
Exactly for that. The next team number in the 8th position in terms of projected scoring. Well, you guys know Chris Platty from the heavyweights. This is his older brother, Eric Platty, a.k.a. the Real Swim Shady. Swim Shady. How you feeling about his draft?
So I had these guys as a playoff team.
Okay.
And let me start with, you go Bijan, Hunter with the scoring system, Drake London. I absolutely love to smash this year. Tyreek Hill for a bounce back. I mean, even Kelsey, as we know, Brendan, our boy, here, is a big fan of the Chiefs. He's got
Mahomes is the GOAT.
Number 1 tackler in the NFL from last year. TJ Watt, fresh off a new contract. Ridley, super late. You got some upside guys like Scatabo, Mason, Bill Merritt, and then late on the quarterback. But I love both the picks, Purdy and Murray. I feel like this team can make it.
Well, the big wild card for me on this one is you don't take Drake London in the second. He falls back to you in the third after you take Travis Hunter in the second.
Right.
And I prefaced that earlier in the show. Travis Hunter in a league where you get both offensive and defensive stats for that single player instead of them being attributed to the defensive special team. I had J.J. Watt when he was catching touchdowns as my defensive lineman. I won a championship that year. Travis Hunter, maybe a little early here, but Travis Hunter could end up being a top 5, top 10 wide receiver. If he just gets good wide receiver 2 numbers and then starting corner numbers, you talking about a good 6 points as a corner, another 12 points as a wide receiver. Next thing you know, you're in the 17, 18, 19 category, which is a top 10 wide receiver. Could be a crazy, sneaky pick.
See, this is the thing that I have with this pick. Correct me if I'm wrong. Travis Hunter is listed as a wide receiver DB in Sleeper. If you can put a receiver in the DB position and start another receiver,
you can.
I was almost thinking of taking Travis Hunter at the turn.
goodness.
I had the number 1 overall pick in this draft. I saw him listed as a wide receiver DB, and I was kind of licking my chops at that opportunity. Even if he is a 25 receiver, 30, if you have the chance to start that as an extra starting position and start another receiver over him, that is a massive, massive advantage if he's anything.
Wow,
if you're
that's
listening,
an angle I
Platt,
didn't even think of.
If you're listening, Platt, that means Platty. What that means is start Travis Hunter at corner.
That's crazy. That's dangerous. You should not have told him that, bro. You should not have told him that. That is an absolute cheat code.
Who plays him this week?
Wow. So if he shifts that around, he puts Travis Hunter into his D-back and then elevates another running back into that spot, it would be very interesting to see what his projection turns into. For that alone, are you putting him in the playoffs?
I have him as a playoff team. Look, in blue.
Is that what that means? You want to see my cheat sheet here? This reminds me of back in the day in college when we used to take a magnifying glass. You can't even see them. They're printed so small. So I think you just did this with a magnifying glass and printed out because man, they're
I don't want
small.
people looking over my shoulder at my cheat sheets, Hanson.
Cheat sheet is solid. And Platty certainly had a cheat sheet with that pick there, Travis Hunter in the second round. Moving forward on to the next squad. Number 7, I like this helmet. This is R.J. Graham and his Great Lakes Avengers coming in 7th spot. Taking a look at his squad here. I like it. I like his team. I got to say, Grim Graham has done a good job. He starts off with our boy Amon-Ra St. Brown, McCaffrey, Mahomes, Breece Hall, Xavier Worthy with the stack, him and Mahomes, R.J. Harvey, Devontae Adams, Bo Nix. Then after that, it seemed like he kind of lost a little focus, danced around a little bit, but he did such damage in that first half of the draft that I really like his chances.
Yeah, if McCaffrey runs clean and Breece Hall gets some results, R.J. Harvey develops, and you get some guys to hit later. Really weighted on tight end. Those individual positions, I generally like to get a little bit of a higher ceiling guy, but I think he's going to be a week 1 stud at least. But yeah, we'll see. I get this kind of middle of the pack type team.
I do not think he's going to be a week 1 stud, and you know why? Because I play him in week 1. But I think he has a very strong team. The worst pick for him, I will say, as Brandon alluded to, I am a Patrick Mahomes fan. I do think he will end up being the greatest player we've seen touch the field, but I think that is his worst pick of this draft.
A little early.
Patrick Mahomes, he is completely off my board this year, even though I think he's the best quarterback in this league. They have found a formula to win with the Chiefs, and that does not include Patrick Mahomes throwing for more than 250 and 2
the last couple years. But remember, last year, all they had was Xavier Worthy. Rashee Rice is out. Hollywood Brown basically never plays. Kelsey, Travis.
All I would say is
Pfizer, Kelsey, Swift. He was interested in other
Kelsey.
things last
Swift
year.
Kelsey, I think it
No,
might be now.
Pfizer, Kelsey, Swift. So anyway, I think Mahomes can absolutely have a massive bounce back season this year. Depends on when they can get Rashee Rice back, though. Obviously, he's got that 6-game suspension. Does he come back and get right back in? And is Hollywood Brown
undrafted in most leagues?
Rashee?
Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, Hollywood. And we will get to him a little bit later. Let's press on to my man, Biggins, the punching bag, a legend here. Well, at Woodward, but more so at the Lions post game. He comes in at number 6. Let's rifle through this one. Genty, Neighbors, Hampton. He's going with the youth movement. Egbuka at 5. Loveland at 6. He's got 4 rookies in his first 6 picks.
He's got 5. Oh, see, Neighbors. Yeah, 4.
Yeah, Neighbors' second year. McLaurin in there. Then, of course, he went and got Jared Goff. I like his defenders. I like this team. We have him ranked number 6. I think Biggins is in. I think he's in.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Got our boy Jared Goff in there. I love Hampton. Really tried to get him today. I got sniped all over the place trying to get by Ryan Starr.
He was going in the 5th 2 weeks ago. 5th 2 weeks ago. Now he's in the 3rd.
That's right. That's right. One of those rare rookies that you can start from day one, I believe.
I believe that. I'm not sure if I am starting him week 1. We've got some conversation about that later on in the show. Biggins, I believe you are in the playoffs, my friend. Next, after that, is our very own Brendan in the booth, Team Bomber. I like Bomber's draft. Here. You want to break it down for us, buddy?
I will break it down for you. I'll tell you first off that my QB did not go the way I wanted to go. If I go late round QB this year, Dak Prescott is my target.
And he got sniped.
And
remember,
I play the gambling game. I'm a gambling man. And our very own Brandon right here, snagged him from me. So I was not happy about that. But, I mean, you go Jamar Chase at 1-1. That's an easy pick. I wanted to get running backs off the board early just because I've seen in past drafts there's not that much value once you wait too long. I went Jonathan Taylor in the 2nd, Kamara in the 4th. But Trey McBride might be my favorite pick in this draft with the plus 0.5 boost on every reception. They get a full point per reception tight ends. I think that he will have a better season this year than Marvin Harrison. He will be the wide receiver 1 for that offense.
Again.
And for me to get a wide receiver 1 at the tight end. Plus, he didn't score a touchdown last year until week what?
Yeah, he only had 3. He's got some positive regression.
Exactly.
2 seasons of positive regression
waiting for him at the tight end position.
Real quick, Brennan.
Go ahead.
You got 2 of my faves late. Samson in round 18 and Gordon in round 14. Incredible value.
Oh, yeah.
The Gordon today in my old work league came in at 9. I took him. Same taste in players, I guess, a little bit. And then Samson, I believe today went in 13. So good
Samson
value there.
For a Mr. Irrelevant, I mean, thank you, Brandon, for the compliments there. If Judkins is not available for them, he could be an RB1 for an offense.
Screw Judkins. He's a Buckeye.
I feel that. Ollie Gordon went in our 12th in our draft Tuesday night, so he is creeping up. We had him in a segment where you shouldn't have him on your waiver wire. We took him off because he shouldn't be on your waiver wire. If Ollie Gordon is there...
If you don't know his name, maybe you shouldn't be playing fantasy football.
True. If Ollie Gordon is on your waiver wire, go and smash that add button. Let's move on to the next squad. Coming in at number 4, maybe my favorite helmet. It's our guy, Ryan Lautner, and the Lions main EX. Love this helmet. Not going to lie.
So, went a little early on Jackson. Maybe not. Bucky and Hendog, really high in Hendo this year. However, it's going to be hard to start the year, and he doesn't really have a backup until Braylon Allen in 13. So he might have a rough start to the year. Hopefully he finds his footings. Went with dad mode, number 1, Mike Evans, Sir Michael Evans, or number 2. But, that's a late first wide receiver. So
love the Ty Warren pick.
Need some breaks. We love Ty Warren.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Ty Warren. We're also going to talk about Travion, but we do like this squad. I like it a lot, especially with Lamar leading the way for you.
Great value with Jerry Jeudy late.
Yep, did very well defensively. Added in some Isaac Tesla, so he's got a little bit of Lions love there. I like to see it. I think he'll be in the playoffs. Team number 3, Fuzztown Showdown. And Fuzztown, I like that helmet as well on him. Where do you think he falls? Because I like his team quite a bit.
Yeah, the Funk Fuzz is one of my tops. They're in the tops, my top 3. I love the value of Diggs late, Dobbins late. You get TJ Edwards, Debo pretty late, AJ Brown in the 4th. Daniels in 2 a little early, but
not in this league.
Yeah, not in this league.
That's a third wide or quarterback taken at number, what is that, 18?
Yeah, a little late on tight end. He went Pitts and then Kraft, but it's not a bad strategy.
I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, like one of those guys could hit. You're going to get a good, a good floor performance out of one of those guys.
Is this the year for Kyle Pitts?
Stop it.
I bought like 100 of his rookie cards last year, thinking that Arthur Smith was gone and he was going to do something. But Penix looked his way at the end of last season. But
Kyle Pitts is a guy, like, I drafted him as a rookie thinking, like, dude, this guy's insane. Like, he's got the physical attributes. Loved him at Florida with Kyle Trask. But, man,
the rookie year was good.
Yes, but, like,
he fooled me in year 2.
Yeah.
Oh, he fooled everybody in year 2, year 3, year 4.
Years. I think I might draft him the first 3.
Yeah, well, listen, we got our top 2 guys projection-wise by sleeper. I swear we didn't do this. We've got just a few more minutes. We'll each cover our own team, and then we'll be bringing in our guest, Joe Dolan. Number 2, show him that helmet. Is it me or is it BK over here?
I swear this was the projections.
I had nothing to do with this except for drafting.
Yeah, and setting the point system, Anson, and having an inherent advantage of surprise. That's fine. It's the show. It's cool, but I'm coming for you. To be a little bit biased. Actually, I'm gonna let Brendan analyze my team, and I'm gonna counter it.
I'll break you down right here. So I do think that this is, with them 2 being at the top for everyone else in this league, this just shows that they follow the consensus picks. They're the sheep. We are the wolves going out here. This is who the sleeper points think are
He's
the
a real
best
joke.
teams, not the real ones. Yeah, fancy jerks around here. We're not being nice.
You a real joke.
But first off, love the stack CD and Dak right off the bat. CD is a great value wherever you get him, but especially at the 6th or 7th pick where you got him there. Dak is my late round quarterback target, as I once said before.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, it was you. Yep. Yeah. Like you said, we have similar interests.
The chat was going wild at that point.
The 12th round was
Remind me
way
to
too
not
late for him
introduce
be
you to
there.
my wife.
Wait.
oh.
Where was I?
You got him with that one.
Great
threw a curve
value on George Kittle. I think not too many people looked at besides me and you with that extra 0.5 going to the tight ends and the
Show
scoring.
that helmet, Ryan.
What is his team name?
It's Dad's Alibi.
Oh, Dad. I was looking. You said BK, and I was like,
yeah, that's Brandon Kaz over there.
Yeah, I didn't know the name.
Dad's Alibi.
Brian.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, thank you. I was looking.
It's so silly.
I was looking for like a Burger King style helmet. I'm like, I didn't see that. So, but no, we're good. We're good.
And it's nice and worn too. And you wore a matching hat today.
I did.
Exact same color. You're a real joke.
I am. So, I mean, to add to the analysis, Lawrence late, Burden super late. Drafted a couple defenders that were rated high that I don't really know, but kind of went like a 0 RB. Took my dad mode of Connor.
Definitely went 0 RB. Connor, Pollard, Caleb Johnson, Zach Charbonnet. You're going to need a running back or two to fall for 2 of those guys to be very, very good. I don't like your running back room. The rest of your squad, I love. I like George Kittle in the 3rd steal in this league with the extra 0.5 per tight end reception. But, man, those running backs are trash.
We'll see.
Yes, we will. And number one, coming in on top with the highest projection. I bet you can't guess. You're about to get fucked with no Vaseline.
That's a great song, by the way. I just want to point that out. That is an amazing diss track.
No Vaseline, boys.
Yes.
All 11 of you, I will have no Vaseline on hand. And no, you guys aren't breaking this one down for me. I'm breaking it down. Saquon, backwards flipping Barkley. Are you kidding me? How are you going to leave him on the board? I get the historical significance of how many touches he had last year, but he is the Philadelphia Eagles offense. He is Robo-back. He is Saquon flipping Barkley. And for him to still be there at 5 is a crime against all fantasy degenerates. Following up, Nico Collins, how do you go wrong? No running game in Texas. Smash.
That's a smash button.
Chase Brown in the 3rd. Why is he still there in the
Value.
3rd, gentlemen?
Just went at 2 in the 2nd in another league.
What are you guys thinking? And then Jalen Hurts in a quarterback league just going to dribble down to me in the 4th. Didn't want to take quarterback that early, but I had to. Come back, Chuba Hubbard. You know why?
More boring than James Conner.
Because Theo Greminger told me so. Shout out fantasy points. I'm sticking with them. They've done me right so far. Crushing drafts since they got on board. Rashee Rice, just a freebie in the 6th there. I don't even need him until week 7, because I got Nico Collins. Then I got Zay Flowers right after that. My starting wide receivers are fine. Matthew Golden, don't sleep. Brandon Aubrey.
Change his number to 0, Aura.
That's right. Brandon Aubrey is a cheat code in every single fantasy league. No kicker is allowed to kick from further and more often than the Aussie in Dallas. After that, I just kept slaying people. I had to go with Evan Ingram, got Dallas Goedert. Love that double up, got the stack in Philly. Trey Benson, come on, you can't leave him on the board. Austin Eckler, not Bill. Not Chris Rodriguez. Austin Eckler is the number 1 running back in a fantastic Washington offense that has another wide receiver there named Deebo Samuel. And then you guys left me Foye Oluokun. I stayed away from defenders the whole way. And you guys give me Budda Baker and Foye Oluokun. I've got the number 1 D-back, the number 1 linebacker. I got the number 1 team, guys.
Cool.
I mean, how many times do we see preseason top rankings they don't live up to the hype?
What did I tell Justin Satawa?
Bears of this league. He's the off-season winner.
Is he the Bears?
As much as he hated.
Oh, man.
You live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Let me rewind real quick because there's a certain guy named Brendan Bommarito, the Bomber. Who's your quarterback? Because you didn't mention it when you broke down your team. You happened to glance over the catfish that you have under center. What's his name?
Caleb Williams. Caleb finger painting, nail painting Williams. But the reason I will say this, I hate the Bears. It is fuck the Bears in this booth right here. Let me look at this camera and say that. But I'm trying to win a fantasy league here at the end of the day.
Where you picked him, I'm not mad.
When I see a second-year QB with enough weapons to sustain a high-powered offense, a new play caller there that was one of the best in the league, if not the best.
Ben Johnson.
That is what I see upside. That screams upside.
Well, listen, guys, I'm going to be dialing up an amazing prize package. It's going to have a lot of cool stuff. Hopefully I get to keep it, but I will have that dialed up for you. But we've got somebody else dialed up right now.
Let's hit that super chat real quick.
Oh, okay. What do we
hit
got?
The super chat, and then let's get over to Joe Dolan from Fantasy Points.
$10 of the super chat from Dante.
My man, Dante.
15151. Thank you for the encouragement, guys. I get to face Plotty week 1. Gets to face Plotty week 1. But I did make a quick move in free agency. Picked up Jerome Ford to replace Brian Robinson as the second RB in our lineup. How do we feel about that, guys?
I picked up Jerome Ford in our Woodward league because I don't love my running backs.
I'm starting Jerome Ford in a no running back league.
I'm starting him in
zero
one
RB
too.
league.
What type of leagues are you guys in? No running back? Like what?
Deep leagues.
Okay, so in a zero RB, you take young guys late, and you got to get some guys as bridge backs, like to get you a couple weeks while you wait for your young guys to wait for your young guys to get their roles fleshed out.
So for For this league, I was unable to defend my team, really. I don't even know what you guys said. But in this league, I was at a family function. I was having my cousin and her fiance, her fiance, he knows how to do everything, so renovated the whole house. I'm there. I'm not really paying attention at all in this draft. Like, I am just kind of talking with all my family members. I didn't know we were drafting defensive players. So I'm looking at the draft, and I see Aiden Hutchinson go off the board. I'm like, that's got to be like a Lions defense. Then all of a sudden, I see Brian Branch. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then it didn't hit me till like round 13 or 12 or something, and I'm like, we're drafting individual defensive players. I didn't know that.
IDP, baby.
I didn't pay attention at all.
You got
family
verse.
comes first. I'm Dom Toretto.
You got verse.
Yeah, that was the only one I knew at that point. I was like, I'll just take him.
Well, let's get well versed with Fantasy Points. Their owner and
I get it. That was good, Anson.
You like that one?
You really punned that one.
You like that?
Yeah, I did. It was good. Solid.
All right, let's bring on our guest here, Joe Dolan. He is the owner and editor-in-chief over at fantasypoints.com. Welcome on to Fantasy Jerks. It's great to have you, brother.
Hey guys, good to be with you. Enjoying myself here. I actually, you guys had to, I guess, move up the start of your show a little bit because I have a fantasy draft. I literally have one at like 8:40 p.m. It's my last one, and it's kind of weird because in this industry, I'm caught in the limbo between week one and still the preseason. And that's kind of where I am because I'm looking forward to the weekend, but I still have this big draft that I need to get done tonight.
Had my last one last night, my 24-year-old retro scoring league. And I got to say, having 2-3 weeks of drafts, tonight you're going to crush it. You know exactly what you need to do at this point, right?
2-3 weeks, more like 6-7 months, man. It's been a long time. No, now I'm not a best ball before the NFL draft sicko. I cannot do that.
That's a special type of sicko.
Oh, it's a ridiculous type of sicko. I think Theo might actually be one of those types of sickos. But
I can see that.
No, I know. But as soon as the last draft pick is made in the 7th round on April 30th or whereabouts, I'm entering a bunch of best ball drafts right away.
Where do you best ball?
And that's when the season starts for me. Mostly underdog, but DraftKings is a lot softer.
Okay.
Drafters is softer as well, but the problem is like we're not sponsored here, are we? Anywhere?
It's okay.
The problem is the underdog interface is just so smooth that the experience you tolerate that for the slightly sharper draft rooms.
And hey, guys, check out Caesar Sportsbook when you get a chance. Compare those lines and get into your most favorable best ball. Enter that Woodward 1000. Get yourself a free credit if you don't hit on that first bet up to $1,000. Joe, I hear your specialty is corners and wide receivers, so we're going to get right into it. Let's talk about Sunday's second slate of games. Lions traveling to Green Bay, and there are a hell of a lot of great corner and wide receiver matchups. Let's start on the other side of the ball, and let's go with Matthew Golden and a guy named Terrion Arnold. How much do you think those two are going to be matching up with each other, and what do you think the outcome will be?
Yeah, so this is a really difficult week for me with the wide receiver cornerback column. As a matter of fact, I write it up at Fantasy Points.
Yeah, you do. It's fantastic.
It's an award-nominated column. But let me tell you guys, I don't write it this week because I feel like it's more noise than anything else.
But the tool is up, though. Because I was on there.
The tool is up. We do have a tool. We do have a tool.
I will be using you
so
for sit-start advice. So,
it's
fantastic.
This is how we do wide receiver cornerbacks at Fantasy Points. Like, very rarely these days in the NFL do you see a true, like, corner one follows wide receiver one the way Deion Sanders used to do, or the way Darrelle Revis more recently used to do. And occasionally we do see that a guy like Patrick Surtain will do that. Some teams will selectively shadow a certain player. But we have a really difficult task ahead of us here with the Lions and the Packers this week, because the Lions have a new defensive coordinator. The Packers have a rebuilt secondary. And it's very difficult to understand exactly who's going to line up where, who's going to be the main matchup. Now, we are projecting that for the plurality of Matthew Golden's snaps, he is going to line up over Terrion Arnold. And of the projected Green Bay wide receivers in this game, I feel like Golden has the worst matchup in that draw with Terrion Arnold. If I had Matthew Golden on my fantasy team, I think ideally I would be able to wait a week and see exactly what happens with his usage. But on the other hand, you're also dealing with a Green Bay Packer wide receiving group that might not have Jaden Reed. So Jordan Love might not have a choice but to throw the ball to his rookie wide receiver. So I consider the Terrion Arnold to be the most problematic matchup in the Detroit secondary. But I was talking to our guy, Brett Whitefield, who actually runs up our fantasy points data and charting service. And he was like, dude, it's hard to predict what the Lions are going to do with the new defensive coordinator, but they're just going to move their corners everywhere. So, the thing about the wide receiver cornerback matchup, that the nuance that you have to get into when you're breaking this down is, what if Matthew Golden lines up over Terrion Arnold on 90% of his snaps? But on the other 10% of his snaps, he burns the guy who he's across from. And then all of a sudden he has a great game, even if he did nothing against Terrion Arnold. So those are the nuances you have to break down. But the fact that we expect Arnold to line up across from him the most, and we don't know exactly what Matthew Golden is going to be in the NFL, that downgrades him for me a little bit in this matchup.
What about the other wide receivers for Green Bay? Jaden Reed nursing some injury. Obviously, Romeo Doubs kind of Mr. Consistency for them. Is there anybody else that the Lions are going to be focused on or worried about beyond Matthew Golden?
Yeah, well, Jaden Reed would be the guy I would be most concerned about. The problem is he did not practice on Wednesday with a foot injury, and the fact that he didn't practice on his first day of week one, that gets me a little bit concerned about his availability. I don't think he's going to play. So Romeo Doubs is probably their best other wide receiver out there. Honestly, based on our fantasy points data metrics, their best receiver at getting open is Dontavion Wicks. There's just one problem with Dontavion Wicks. When he's out there, he looks like he's playing volleyball. And that's not something you want from a wide receiver. You don't want him knocking the ball directly into the ground. So Dontavion Wicks, great at getting open, bad at catching footballs. But he is the guy who I think if you worry about one Packer receiver outside of Golden wrecking the game, it would probably be Dontavion Wicks this week. But I think they're going to be shorthanded against the Lions here on a Sunday afternoon.
And what do you think about Tucker Kraft? Is he a problem? Is he a problem for the linebacking core?
He's a big guy, big, powerful guy. They run the tush push with them, even though they were one of the teams that voted to ban. As a matter of fact, they were the lead dog in trying to ban the tush push, but they run it with Tucker Kraft. Honestly, that's a great observation. That's not part of the wide receiver cornerback matchup tool on account of he's a tight end, but I actually think he's their most dangerous receiver in this game. But I wonder if they're going to try to slow it down a little bit, run the football. Obviously, you guys well know what happened with that Lion defense last year. Lee McNeil is not going to be back. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Packers pump 20 to 25 carries in Josh Jacobs' direction.
Well, they got to try to keep the game at hand, right? It could get out of hand quick, and Golden could fire just because they're playing catch up, right?
Yeah, and Golden, like I said, wide receiver 3 at best in this matchup. If you look at the total for this game, I believe it's 47.5. That's the third highest projected total on the slate, tied with like Philly and Dallas and a couple of other games. That indicates there will be points scored in this game. The Lions have a new defensive coordinator. There could be some growing pains there. So Golden would be my favorite wide receiver from the Packers to play. But in terms of like ranking how good a play I think they are, I would go Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft, Matthew Golden.
Yeah, I love those rankings. I'm always trying to wait a week to see the actual usage in a rookie's first time on the field in the NFL. Let's flip that question around now. Let's talk about what everybody wants to hear about. This unbelievable offense that we have here in Detroit. Jamo, Amon-Ra, now you add Tesla in there. What kind of problems is Jair Alexander and the rest of the secondary in Green Bay going to have?
Jair's in Baltimore now.
No, Jair and Alexander's in Baltimore, so that's a big problem in and of itself for Green Bay.
Is.
So the Green Bay signed like Nate Hobbs this offseason, who's been predominantly a slot corner in the NFL. He might have to play outside. And here is what the Green Bay Packers determined. They determined with their projected starting corners, and right now, again, this is subject to change. Right now, we have them projected to start Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, and Javon Bullard, and Javon Bullard coming down into the slot when they play three corners. Those are their top three projected guys. And in case you're wondering, no, I don't think that's a great top three projected guys. So what did the Green Bay Packers do? They are trying to hope that their pass rush is so good that their mediocrity, if not worse, at corner ends up not mattering all that much. So they go out and they get Micah Parsons, who, as you guys know, look, believe me, you can be Lions fans and acknowledge that if Brad Holmes made that trade, you guys would probably still be hungover. So you can acknowledge that was an effective trade for the Packers. But they're hoping Micah Parsons comes in there and gives Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator, a dominant pass rusher so he doesn't have to worry as much about the secondary. But if this Lions offensive line can keep Jared Goff upright, Jared Goff is going to have opportunities to connect on passes here. Now, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown as having the best matchup against Javon Bullard, who honestly is kind of a hybrid safety. So we love Amon-Ra St. Brown's matchup. But if in the event that Jared Goff, maybe Micah Parsons gets double teamed, he gets stonewalled, or he's dealing with that back injury, that mysterious back injury that Dallas seems to think he was faking, but his agent clearly put out there to Adam Schefter, hey, Adam, if you want to keep getting scoops, you better start talking like this back injury is real. Maybe he plays less than 100% of the snaps or a lower than usual snap share. This is an opportunity for Jameson Williams to deliver on the offseason hype. You know, the Isaac Tesla hype is interesting to me only because the fact that the Lions traded away Tim Patrick tells me that that's real. But I still wonder exactly how much of a fantasy impact Tesla makes. You would have to think at bare minimum, he is fifth on the food chain in terms of target share behind St. Brown, Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Sam Laporta. And obviously you have to mix David Montgomery in there as well for his carries. So Tesla is not somebody you can play in week one of a fantasy league. Maybe if you want to throw him into a DFS lineup, have at you. He's going to be really cheap, but not for standard fantasy leagues. But if Micah Parsons is off the field or he gets stonewalled by Penei Sewell at some point, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jameson Williams able to make a big play against this Green Bay secondary, which even the most militant of cheeseheads would tell you is the biggest weakness on this Packers team.
It sounds to me like you're starting both wide receivers, our tight end, and both of our running backs.
So David Montgomery is a little strange here. One of my assumptions here for John Morton, the new offensive coordinator, was, you know what, let's take a look and say, I'm not Ben Johnson, okay? I'm not going to do all the tricky stuff that Ben Johnson did, or at least I don't think he should. I don't want you to do a bad impression of Ben Johnson. I wonder if John Morton is going to sit back and evaluate the talent that he has and say, you know what? I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not the next virtuoso, you know. Here's what we're going to do. Jahmyr Gibbs is better than your linebackers. Amon-Ra St. Brown's better than your slot corner. And Jameson Williams is faster than your top perimeter corner. We're going to line up and we're going to beat you. And that's why fantasy players have been drafting Jahmyr Gibbs at sometimes as high as number 1 overall, because people are like, you know what? David Montgomery, he started the playoff game for the Lions. And at that point, I was like, you know, that was a little arrogant. Like, coming off the injury, Jahmyr Gibbs had been your best player. I wonder if John Morton's just going to say, David Montgomery has his role, but this is Jahmyr Gibbs' backfield. I expect Jahmyr Gibbs to start the game, and I expect him to be an important player, no doubt, of course. He's a first-round pick for fantasy.
Yeah, just one last thing on that before we get you into the next segment, because we want to get you out of here in time for your
draft. Got to draft, man. Got to draft.
Right. You spoke on something that I've been talking about for the last few months with John Morton coming into town. The Lions last year played desperate offensively, and I didn't feel that they needed to. And again, this year, obviously health is with us this year, but this team has no need to play desperately the way that they did the last few years in order to get out of the basement, the perennial decade century-long basement that they languished in. And now you have this guy that might understand that and dial back those, end-around Jamo passes and things like that. So I love your take on that. I think that Johnny Mo, after I hear that he turned down the opportunity to join Ben Johnson and chose to stay here or to be here with Dan, I think that he's perfect for this explosive offense.
And like you said, everybody. This is not to be a Ben Johnson bash session. Okay, I think he's a really good coach. You were just talking about drafting Caleb Williams in the last fantasy draft and saying, like, look, he's got the new coach. He's a creative coach. He clearly got the best out of this roster. But you did mention, like, at some point, were they being cute for cute's sake? Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't think that their best opportunity, not to rehash the NFC Championship game, was to come back was to have Jameson Williams throwing passes. That wasn't their best opportunity. Their best opportunity was to have Jameson Williams running away from guys the way he did earlier in the game before he tried to impregnate the end zone. So that was what I would figure would be the approach for John Morton. We've got talent. Let's use that talent. The Philadelphia Eagles last year, what did they do when like the passing game was a little out of sync? All right, we've got this great offensive line, just like the Lions do. We've got this all-world running back. We're going to punch you in the effing mouth. And that's what I think the Lions might get back to doing here. Just be a little bit simple and let the talent speak for itself.
I sure hope you are right. Let's get into our next segment here because, again, you got your draft to get to, so we got you about 9 more minutes. Sit or spin. That's what we're calling it, our starts and sits.
Real jerk's name for a segment is what that is.
It certainly is, my friend. So are you sitting them or are you going to give them a spin? I'm going to give you 3 quarterbacks. These are all guys that were mostly taken later in leagues this year for good reason or for bad reason. But give me one guy. Let's say you got all 3 of these guys on your team. C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love, or Drake May. Who is your starter?
Ooh, okay. So Jordan Love going up against the Hutch and the Lions defense. You've got C.J. Stroud against those L.A. Rams. I actually have a bet on Jared Verse to win Defensive Player of the Year. And you've got Drake May going up against the Las Vegas Raiders, who have an elite pass rusher, but their back 7 needs a lot of work. I'm actually starting Drake May of these 3. I'm going to spin Drake May, and I am going to sit good authority that Drake May is going to be worked in more as a designed runner. He was one of the best scramblers in the NFL last year, but I believe, based on what I've been told, that the designed run element will be a bigger factor for the New England Patriots this year. Drake May was my favorite middle round sleeper. Matter of fact, in my draft here in 10-15 minutes, I wouldn't be at all upset if I left it with Drake May as my starting quarterback.
So he is my starting quarterback, but I got another question. So Drake May or Trevor Lawrence, because I got sniped on Dak as a late round quarterback in a late round quarterback draft by Ryan Starr, and then I took Drake, and then I took Trevor later. But it's like week 1 versus Carolina, and that defense with those weapons that Trevor's got. What do I do there?
I would start Trevor Lawrence. And okay. I am certainly somebody who every time somebody says Trevor Lawrence is like a top 10 quarterback, it's just the tape heads who can't let go of their priors and love to make a million different excuses for the guy. But I have to admit that Trevor Lawrence is set up in theory to have his best year this year. And this is a really good matchup. I can't believe I'm saying this because this game is so Thursday night football coded, Jaguars and Panthers. Right. But this is actually one of the games I'm most interested to watch this weekend. It's actually a really intriguing week 1 matchup.
What's the over under in that one?
47.5. It's tied with the Lions and Packers game.
That's a lot higher than I think for the first game of the year on a Thursday night. A lot of fantasy
points in that one.
Yeah, wild. Let's move on to running backs.
It is a very underrated fantasy game, yeah.
It is. A lot of intrigue there. Fantasy running backs. I got 4 of them. Aaron Jones, Pacheco, Tyrone Tracy, or the rookie Travion Henderson, who I personally am staying away from starting this week. Got into a 2-hour-long fight with one of my co-owners last night. I was pushing for Aaron Jones. Where are you at out of these 4? You can pick 1 or 2. So
I think Aaron Jones is a player who I want to use early before he gets hurt, but I actually think what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to do their own little version of the Lions backfield, which is easier said than done. But they traded for a guy from San Francisco named Jordan Mason, who's kind of a thumper in the David Montgomery style. And I think they view Aaron Jones as a player who was explosive and remains explosive, but could be more effective if he has fewer touches. So I actually like both of their running backs this year, but Aaron Jones in a projected higher scoring game. Yet another, guys, you get to watch the other NFC North matchup in primetime and really dissect all three of the Lions' main opponents this year with a closer eye just in week 1 alone, which is a pretty cool opportunity. That's a fun Monday night game to assess where J.J. McCarthy and Caleb Williams are at this stage in their development. But I think early in the season, Aaron Jones is the guy I'm going to be taking for a spin versus sitting him. Of the other three, I really, guys, want to say TreVeyon Henderson. I actually have a bet on him over the rushing yards.
Now week 1, though.
I just want to see how he's being used. Of the other two, I'll sit TreVeyon Henderson. I'll sit Tyrone Tracy. I think I'm going to take Isaiah Pacheco for a spin. And I think people forget Pacheco was like a 4th or a 5th round draft pick last year, and his season was essentially over before it started. I think he got hurt in week 2. When he came back, he was clearly not the same player that he was in previous weeks. He had lost that explosiveness. You guys see the memes with Isaiah Pacheco where he runs like the Juggernaut in the X-Men movie where he's just running through door frames. That is what but he didn't have that ability last year. If the Chiefs ran the ball once in the Super Bowl, I don't remember it. They knew they couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So, but I think they kind of want to get back to Isaiah Pacheco being that guy. And they didn't really improve that backfield too much this offseason. They signed Elijah Mitchell away from the 49ers. He's always hurt. They drafted a guy like Brashard Smith out of SMU, who's a converted wide receiver, but they drafted him in the 7th round. And it's reasonable to expect that Brashard Smith might take some time to develop. So I'm gonna spin Isaiah Pacheco here along with Aaron Jones.
Love that. Love that. Let's move on to the wide receivers because I know we're getting low on time. Jamo, Judy, Pickens, or DJ Moore. Pick 2.
Okay. I'm going to sit DJ Moore.
Yes.
I faded him all off season. One of the reasons I'm going to sit DJ Moore is at Fantasy Points Data, he had by far the most percentage of his fantasy points on designed targets, which means like screens, one read routes. And the fact that they have a new offensive coordinator and obviously Ben Johnson coming into town, I just wonder how much that's going to be part of their new offense. It might well be. Like, I'm not sitting here and tell you I can predict that exactly, but that was such a big outlier that I faded DJ Moore all off season. I much prefer drafting Rome Odunze and Colston Loveland at cheaper prices.
I hear you guys are prognosticating Rome to be the Bears' Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, I need to see Caleb Williams throw accurate passes on time before I get really there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rome Odunze leads that team in receiving. So the other guys you gave me were Jerry Jeudy, I believe. You gave Jerry Jeudy as long as Joe Flacco's out there. As long as Joe Flacco's out there, start Jerry Jeudy. I mean, Joe at this stage of his career is like Brett Favre level gunslinger. He's just going to fire it to his number one receiver. We project that they're going to be playing from behind against Cincinnati. Cincinnati also might have the worst defense in the National Football League. So go get Jerry Jeudy in there. George Pickens. This one's really tough for me because he had a lot of offseason hype. I just think this is the Stone Nuts worst matchup. Now Dallas could be playing way from behind and Pickens might catch a ball down the sidelines, but I'd just much rather gamble with Jamison Williams, who I think can do the same things as George Pickens statistically, but has a better matchup against the Green Bay Packers.
I love that. All right, let's finish up with the tight ends here. Guy that we love here, guy that I've drafted everywhere, but still a rookie. We don't know what he's going to be. Ty Warren. A guy who was really good at the end of last year when he had Drake May throwing to him, Hunter Henry. And then the guy who I feel everybody's forgetting about, a guy that had 100 catches as last year, tight end at Ole Miss, a guy named Evan Ingram getting the ball from Bo Nix. Pick one of the three.
I'm going to go with Hunter Henry. He was my most drafted tight end this year. I like Tyler Warren. I just want to see how this offense looks. If Tyler Warren is a guy who we're talking about as having a Sam Laporta-ish rookie season come week 18, I wouldn't be fully shocked by that. Now, actually, Tyler Warren is a player I'm underweight on, despite my I went to Penn State, so I saw a lot of Tyler Warren, but I was underweight on him because of the assumption at sub level that Anthony Richardson was going to win that starting job, and I wanted nothing to do with his pass catchers. Now I'm upset I didn't draft him more because at the very least I know Daniel Jones will pepper him with targets, but I want to see it first from him. Denver is interesting. I think they're going to mix the ball around quite a bit, so I'll shy away from Evan Ingram in week 1, but you mentioned it. Hunter Henry was a tight end 1 with Drake May down the stretch last year. I constantly get him wrong for DFS. If I play him, he goes 0 for 0. If I bench him, he goes for 2 touchdowns. But that, like I mentioned, that Raider back 7, especially the linebackers, very exploitable. I would, as a matter of fact, the Patriots have the Raiders' best linebacker from last year, Spillane. So I would start Hunter Henry with that matchup.
Yeah, and the Packers have their best cornerback in Hobbs, and another thing with quickly, wasn't able to get Warren in any leagues. Super high on him. Want to ask you one thing though, and it's on. I noticed something newly deployed to FantasyPoints.com yesterday, or the other day. The new AI functionality. Can you give us a little bit of a plug and tell us about that?
So it's in early beta. It's for our all-in subscribers who will understand what the tool is now and what we want it to be. But basically, it dives into our rankings, our projections, our articles, and spits out intelligent fantasy advice based on what our people think. Hey, what does Joe Dolan think about X? And it'll search for that. And if I have a take, if I gave the take on a podcast, if I have an article with it, it'll spit that out. Otherwise, it'll say, Joe Dolan hasn't said anything about this player in particular, but Brett Whitefield has, or Theo Greminger has, and here's what he says. So right now, it's really a really cool start-sit tool. It's a great trade analyzer. We have trade values for every single player. But in the future, we want this to be able to incorporate Fantasy Points data itself and intelligently spit out splits for you. Things that ChatGPT simply cannot do. If you ask
Fantasy
ChatGPT,
Gronkowski, eh?
Yeah,
like
ChatGPT, right? If you ask it certain questions, it might tell you Russell Wilson still plays for the Broncos. Like our tool is not going to do that. So it's specifically fantasy oriented. It does not write articles. All of our articles, all of our stats are hand charted and handwritten, and it will never write articles. It's not going to draw you a shitty picture of George Pickens standing in front of the TV at the NFL draft, right? It's not going to do that. It's going to give you fantasy advice. And as the editor-in-chief of Fantasy Points, I fought hard to make sure that, like, hey, this isn't replacing our charting system. No, it is a tool for the subscribers and eventually really for us to use once we're able to get Fantasy Points data in there.
That's
to
fantastic.
augment your base functionality and leverage that. That's fantastic.
Yes.
It is true.
And eventually we want to put that into our tools, like our draft tools and everything like that, incorporate it all into everything at Fantasy Points.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, AI messes stats up. I catch it all the time. I'll correct it.
Hallucinating.
I missed that. But hey, this is Joe Dolan, owner and editor-in-chief over at Fantasy Points. You were awesome, my man. I appreciate you so much, and we love our partnership with you guys over at FantasyPoints.com.
Guys, I cannot wait to watch the Lions and Packers game on Saturday. I'm going to be on air until 6 p.m., but that'll put me my fat ass right in front of the television for the second half of that game, and I'm looking forward to it, as is the rest of the country.
Hell yeah. Well, we're looking forward to getting you back. We appreciate you. And now go crush your draft, my friend.
Oh, I've got to, man. Fortunately, it's kind of my job to do these things, so I don't really have to prepare. So,
hey,
all right, guys.
It's already in there. My man, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Joe.
Fantastic stuff from Joe Dolan over at FantasyPoints.com. Listen, get on over to FantasyPoints.com. Put in Woodward. When you check out, you're going to save 10% off on that. And we are going to have a free membership for somebody next week. After the first week of games, we'll be coming back. Hopefully by then you guys are all in and ready. We'll be doing something with the Super Chat to take care of that. But I got a dad here who wants to take you through this week's Dad Mode. Brandon?
Yeah. So I think we got a special one here, Anson. Not going to lie. I mean, with so many to choose from, I thought I'd have to, going into week one, talk about one of our own here.
Oh, right. I like that. I
This
like
segment,
the sexy tone, too.
Thanks. I'm working on it. I'm no Alan Allman. That really dates me.
Ryan just goes, ew.
This segment of Dad Mode is brought to you by Ven Johnson Law, fighting for you, and Manchego's Cheese Shop, fighting for cheese. It's Jared Goff.
There he is.
Quarterback 6, quarterback 7, quarterback 10 for the last 3 years, 37, 30, and 29 touchdowns. If he performs at the average of the last 3 years in attempts and touchdowns, he would effectively get you 33 touchdowns, 4,550 yards, 283 fantasy points, and quarterback 7, just by being average over the last 3 years. But his ADP is quarterback 9. Effectively, if he outperforms his average, he's going to be a top one half of the top one half of a QB1 for you, a quarterback 0.5. A team entering its prime, a quarterback in his primes, Gibbs, Ra, Jamo, Laporta, Tesla, you know the names. He carries this team like a Chevy Silverado. Jared Goff's your Dad Mode pick of the week. Let's get it. Go
Lions! Hey, I love this pick. Honestly, this is a guy that's in his 30s. When we traded for him in the Stafford deal, people thought he was washed. And he's had not only a resurgence, but a catapult. The guy's playing the best football of his career. And I think one thing that, while everybody's focused on Tesla and everybody's talking about the ascension year for Jamo, and the defense is going to give the ball back a hell of a lot more.
That's right.
In the second half of the season, we couldn't get offenses off the field because our defense was in the IR. So the fact that this defense, in my mind, is a top 8 defense, they are going to be handing that rock back to Jared early and often all season long.
And the offensive line. There are so many reasons to like this from a fantasy perspective, but from a pure football perspective, it's wheels up for this team this year.
I love it. Well, it is wheels up for all of us at this point. Aside from our guy Joe, I think pretty much all of us have drafted at this point. So what we want to do is we want to take a look at your waiver wires. We want to insist that you go and look at your waiver wire right now, because there are some guys that are probably available. At least one of these guys we're going to talk about is available. Starting things off, he talked about him. You asked. He said start him week 1. T-Law, Trevor Lawrence, sitting on less than 50% of rosters, at least in Yahoo. So I'm curious, man, how is this guy getting out of drafts? How far has this guy fallen since being the number 1 pick, since being a guy, the darling of so many people, thinking that he was going to be that next great, transcendent fantasy quarterback? Well, he didn't really have anybody to throw it to. He got BTJ halfway through the year last year. Obviously he had him all year, but he figured it out halfway through the year.
Right.
Turned Brian Thomas Jr. into one of the best wide receivers in the game. But now you add in Travis Hunter. You get a healthy backfield back. It seems
Etienne in a contract year.
It seems like the conditions are right for this guy to be on your team.
Yeah, Liam Cohen bringing a good, simple system.
Liam Cohen, one of Brendan's guys.
And this is and he seems like, when you compare Cohen versus Ben Johnson, Cohen has charisma. He seems like he gets up in front of the mic and he works the press. He seems like a guy that would do well in the locker room with his team and be a good motivator. Trevor Lawrence has had jack squat for coaches. Doug Peterson, Urban Meyer. Who was before that? This is absolutely terrible. This is his 5th coordinator or 4th coordinator. We're going to get some stability in the system that works up front and early. He's got a crap ton of weapons. I can't say shit ton. I forget about that sometimes. I think it's a resurgent year, and so do a lot of others. Especially, I mean, it's going to be a hot start this year against that Carolina defense. That's going to be a burner this weekend. I'm excited for that game.
Thursday night game might be the first high-scoring, like not complete slap.
There's another one on the other side of the field. Bryce Young is on how many waiver wires? This guy was what? Fantasy quarterback 1 in the last 4 weeks of the season last year. Yeah, 5 rushing touchdowns. He's got the Konami code, believe it or not. He's got some weapons this year, and he's got Canales, the last Tampa Bay coordinator. That team was playing some pretty decent football towards the end of the season last year. I'm pretty excited.
Brendan, who would you take out of those two? If they're both on your waiver wire, Bryce and T-Law, which one are you picking up?
I'm taking Bryce. I'm on the Panthers hype train this year. I'm on the Ted McMillan hype train this year. I'm on the Bryce Young hype train this year. And I really think that the Panthers take a leap. I think even with the addition of Travis Hunter, however much he's out there, that Jags defense secondary is a defense to attack for fantasy scores this year.
Sure is.
And I think that he will take the leap that we see of a number 1 pick in the NFL, which I think most people forget that he was at the end of the day.
For sure. A lot of people focused on C.J. Stroud from that draft. I'm going to bring that same question to you, Ryan. T-Law, Bryce Young, or I'm throwing a third in there, Tua. Which of the 3 would you be picking up off of your waiver wire?
See, if Tua was consistently healthy, I would take Tua because he's got the weapons, Waddle, Tyreek Hill. But Tua is like, it's a home run or he's striking out in 3 pitches. But I'm going to go be on the safer side. I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence because he's shown it a couple of times this year. He's added Travis Hunter in the slot. I've mentioned he'll be a slot player. But I like Trevor Lawrence. I do.
He's a T-Law guy.
I like Trevor Lawrence. I liked him since his days in college. Bryce Young has not shown it for a full season yet. Trevor Lawrence has at some point. There's still a good quarterback in there. Give me T-Law. But if Tua was healthy, I would take Tua. But again, injury concerns for me.
That's what it comes down to, man. If this guy doesn't suffer, concussion number 23, 4, 5, and 6 this year, I would pick him all day long. And I think that right now, if Tua's sitting out there out of those 3, I think I'm going that way. Does Tua change either of your opinion on that one? Or are you still going Bryce Ball?
I will not be taking Tua in any league or picking him up unless I have an absolute
Same here.
desperation.
I think that I need my QB in any league to have at least a smidgen of rushing upside. I do think he is 1, maybe 2 concussions away from having the rest of his life in a wheelchair, which is unfortunate for him. And as Brandon alluded me to earlier today, Bryce Young has had 5 rushing touchdowns last year. He has that rushing upside to him that Tua does not.
Yeah, in 11 games? It's pretty solid.
Yeah, Bryce, it's funny. He's been so off my radar. I didn't like him coming out of college. I was a C.J. Stroud guy, just like I was a Jaden Daniels over Caleb guy. But Bryce really did turn it on. He made Chuba viable. It's going to be very interesting to see what he can do for Ted McMillan as well. And then there's a second-year tight end, Jatavian Sanders, who I love his profile. Guy didn't drop a ball in college.
A segment that we're going to be doing for the regular season, I believe that Jatavian Sanders could be an emerging character on that segment.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, don't wait for when you have to spend all your FAAB. Be proactive, identify the guys, and be bold. Go and get them before everyone else is on the same page.
Be that guy that when somebody goes to pick somebody up on waivers and they're like, damn it, they're already on Anson's team.
Yes.
It just feels so good.
Yes, it really does. I do want to ask you guys that before we go on to the running backs. In my leagues that my old school ones, we reward football watching, meaning you can pick up a player in the middle of a game on Sunday. You can pick up a player anytime. Waivers never turn on or off. It's just come and get them. Free reign.
Yeah, it's a commissioner's conundrum, but I typically don't do that because, like you've been burnt by a Percy Harvin or something in the past, or I'm where I've been burnt by the situation where a guy, Percy. A guy picks up, and I know my brother-in-law attests to this. A guy gets cut in the middle of a game.
Well, there's a 2-day waiver if they get cut.
Yeah.
So if they're released off of a team, then there's 2 days. But otherwise, anybody just sitting out there. So I get it. People are married. They have jobs. They have kids. And they like to wake up on Wednesday morning and check waivers before they put their bid in. But fuck that, dude. Reward football watching. That's you?
I like that too.
Dad's revenge. Or wait, what? Dad's alibi over
the
there.
Alibi.
That's right. All right, let's move on to running backs, guys. This guy I've just massively hype on. I thought he was the best running back in the class last year. Obviously, last year's running back class wasn't very good compared to this year's what I believe to be historic class. Trey Benson, Florida State. Shades of a slightly smaller Dalvin Cook. And this is a guy that is behind dad mode week 1 star James Conner. Trey Benson, to me, can do everything on the field you ask him. Great receiving the ball, great running the ball. He's patient. He's got great vision. And my biggest problem is that you've got James Conner out there. And for some reason, people have no idea who Trey Benson is. You should see my Trey Benson rookie card collection. My question to you guys is, Trey Benson sitting there, are you picking him up?
It depends on my team.
You don't have James Conner.
I have James Conner in one league, but I am not a guy that gets my backup running back for my starters. I don't do that.
Well, see, I don't draft early to handcuff because I think if you take 2 guys on the same team in the first 8-10 rounds, you're only guaranteed 1 player there. At no point are you going to be able to get 2. But Trey Benson comes very cheap.
He really does. A lot cheaper than last year, like 3 rounds cheaper or so. The thing is,
14, 15.
Yeah, right. I drafted him in a league last year, and so maybe I'm a little salty. But my issue with Trey Benson is that not a lot of college performance. Great athlete, Kene Nwangwu level athlete. My issue with him is that it seems like he has no vision. He can't stay healthy. And yes, I know he's young.
Health is a little bit of worry in that old man in front of him, James Conner. I'm going to go with another young guy here for running backs, Dylan Sampson. Cleveland is a mess with their running backs. Obviously, Quinshon Judkins may or may not play. Sounds like they're going to allow a investigation to conclude before that even we get an answer for that. Somebody I'm not drafting. Hopefully you didn't either.
I don't draft Buckeyes, period. Even though I took Stroud.
There you go. So, I mean, coming back to that, Dylan Sampson, to me, I loved his tape. Tennessee Volunteer, if I remember correctly.
22 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, tremendous guy out of the backfield as well as running the rock. I actually really like, was it Raheem Sanders that they just signed?
I do. I like Rock. He got cut by the Chargers.
Yeah, I love Raheem Sanders, highest paid UDFA coming out of the draft. There's so many different mouths to feed here, but they're not trying to feed them out. They're trying to find one hungry guy.
Yeah, that's right. And Samson seems to have something.
Yes.
Like he's gonna play early. I think he's gonna be in there, for maybe a 30 to 40% snap share. I know Flacco really likes him. Flacco does like to use that screen. He's a pretty good screen thrower. And I could see Sampson having an early impact, and there is no doubt there.
Well, and this is that type of guy that if you're not grabbing him right now, in 2-3 weeks, he will be gone.
Yeah.
Because he's going to show flashes before he gets the rock all the time.
I took him in Dynasty.
Yeah, I love him as a pick in a rookie draft for Dynasty. This guy is just coming completely under the radar. If he lands with a different team, we're all looking at him differently.
Absolutely.
A, he's a Brown. B, who's their quarterback. C, there's all these other guys in the backfield over there.
It's so hard to be talent agnostic. But when you pick talent, you have to try to be agnostic. And here's just something else. Maybe Stefanski is pretty decent. Like they've got some
maybe, buddy.
Hey, they may have an ownership issue, but man, they've got some offense off that team in the Stefanski years.
I'm coming to the coach guy over here. Brendan, what do you think about Stefanski? Can he do anything with that team?
I think he does, and I think especially for Dylan Sampson, who I took as Mr. Irrelevant in this year's draft.
You did the very
pick.
final one. I love that pick.
I think that
money where the mouth is.
Exactly. A couple years ago or last year, we saw Jerome Ford light up the fab budget the week that he came out and showed himself as a starter, and I think Dylan Sampson could be that Jerome Ford pick. And you want to be early to stuff like that. When you have ambiguous backfields, who we talked about at week 1 in this, what you want to seek out for, as Brandon said, I see us agreeing a lot recently, is the most talented person in that backfield. And right now, I do think that's Judkins, but he might not see the field for other reasons other than talent.
Yeah.
So if you can get the most talented backfield, the most talented running back that's also the most available, I think that could be a great steal from your waivers.
Hey, Anson, what do we call Judkins' off-season behavior? Dumb.
Yes, it was. Ambiguous backfields. I like that. We might have to add that in the future here. Wide receiver. Only got one. There's a whole bunch of trash out there. I don't really know where you guys draft and how many are left, but there's one guy out there that I believe for at least 6 weeks could be a real home run. And he's sitting in, I think, 82% of leagues right now. Marquise Hollywood Brown, guy that came over to Kansas City last year, was supposed to be, add to this high charged offense. You pair him with
Worthy and
with
Rice.
Rasheed and Worthy, but then you lose him really before the season starts. Then Rasheed goes down, and you've got a rookie who supposedly only had about 4 routes in his tree really go off. And again, that goes back to your goat over there, Brendan, Mr. Pat Mahomes. I think that Kansas City, I see them in the Super Bowl with the Lions for one. I see their offense having a huge resurgence, and while a lot of people aren't high on Mahomes, that ball goes through him. They hike it to him, and he hands it off where he throws it. I do like Pacheco, but that game is about their offense is about the passing game.
Yeah, so if you had something happen, like somebody bubble up, get hurt, and you're going to cut them, and you need somebody to potentially start week 2, I mean, maybe you take Hollywood Brown, but I think it's more if you're in an emergency. I mean, who knows, right? Generally with the Chiefs, it's kind of where old receivers go to die. And, whether it be Hopkins, Schuster, Hollywood Brown, like these, they like to have those veteran guys out there kind of training, mentoring, working it, and then, be a little bit of a decoy, get some respect, and get some limited routes out of. I could see him coming in, maybe getting 3-4 catches, and then if something happens, maybe more. But generally, I'm trying to go for ceiling with these types of picks. And there's some guys here that I think Torrey.
Well, let me get you to.
Right.
I'm going to let you say the names real
right.
quick, but you actually described my exact situation. I have Rashee Rice. I have Brandon Ayuk. I have Hollywood Brown and Matthew Golden.
Right.
So who the hell do I start week 1? Do you again, I'm not going to play Hollywood Brown week 1. I want to see what he does, see if he is the wide receiver 1 possession receiver in that offense until Rashee gets back. But I don't want to wait a week to find out, because if he is, he might be one of the first or second guys getting pulled out of free agency. So to me, he's a guy you got to have on your team before week 1.
Yeah, but I think there's some guys out there possibly and others.
Let's hear 'em.
Okay, so Tillman. I mean, is Tillman out
Cedric Tillman, that's a question I was going to bring up while we were talking about Sampson, because he thinks it's going to go to Jerry Jeudy. We don't know who Joe Flacco's number 1 receiver is in his head.
No, we don't. And then here's another thing is and I know somebody that Brendan also likes, and him and I both, it's Elik Iominor. Like, he's the wide receiver too for a team that is going to sling the ball. And that game could be relatively high scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if watching Iominor in the preseason, they had him all over the formation, from the slot, from the X, and he hopefully he doesn't turn out. He's very athletic. He's more athletic than Dontavian Wicks. Has questionable hands, but he's a great route runner. Hasn't played football for a very long time. Came out of Canada. Didn't really play till
You're talking
college.
about Elik Iominor?
Yeah.
The same guy who put up 13 catches for 294 yards and 3 touchdowns on Travis Hunter?
That's exactly what I'm going to say. If you're not familiar with this guy, go look up the highlights of Colorado versus Stanford, Elik Iominor versus Travis Hunter. I know just one college game is not enough to make you all in on a player. But as
but
Brandon
look at the
said,
numbers
this
out of
guy-
Stanford.
This guy is all over the field. He's running every starter rep with them in the preseason, and he will be out there with a quarterback that you could take a chance on. This is all upside is what you're looking for with these guys. He's a rookie wide receiver with a rookie QB who he could choose to be
second,
his favorite.
third round grade, goes late in the fourth.
And to your point, though, Brendan, it might only be one game, but you watch Jacksonville trade all this capital to get up to take Travis Hunter, who is a generational player on both sides of the ball, in their opinion. He's a great D-back, period. But any time that somebody puts those kinds of numbers up on an elite, on any cornerback, but
Doesn't
on
it
an
make for
elite
great
quarterback-
television when they play each other?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, sir. You got any
Another
more?
guy, yeah.
I know you do. You got that magnifying glass out over there?
Horton from Seattle.
Torrey Horton?
I know this is one of your guys.
I wanted him to come out a year ago. I think that he is kind of he reminds me, smaller body, but he reminds me of Xavier Legette. When he gets the ball, if he catches it and he gets that ball, try and bring him down.
Size, speed, it's prototypical. The production, incredible. Injury discount for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Bottom line, guy that's got a lot to prove. A guy that there's not a lot of depth in front of him. You know, how many games is Kupp going to play this year?
Yeah. I am on one of your polls, Brendan. Great conversation topic right there. And let's finish up with the tight ends, in line and move. We're just going to go with one, though, and he is a move tight end. Chig Okonkwo, a guy who his athletic profile is truly spectacular. If this guy, you could probably swap him and Kittle, and I don't see a whole lot being lost from his game. It's just a matter of him never having a quarterback. Will Levis, whatever you want to call him. Now, Cam Ward comes in as the number one pick, their starter. Is this a guy that should not be left on waiver wires?
No, this is a guy that needs to be on a team. He like a couple guys in the back end, uber athlete, which you need to be in order to be a top 6 tight end. A guy that has opportunity, which you need to have to be a top 6 tight end. He has all the characteristics of being a top 6 tight end, but
except
I think
for the quarterback.
Maybe. Apparently these guys have a huge connection. They look great in the preseason together. A lot of puff pieces, in the Tennessee newspapers. But I will say this, the opportunity is there. And if he's top 12 this season, top 8, would anybody here be surprised? He's shown it. Those yards per out run in his rookie year, he's been consistent. He is ascending each year in numbers, typically a slow starter, but he really hasn't had the opportunity to be the number one on that team.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. Not a lot of wide receivers there. That's why we like Elick. Maybe we should like Chig for the same reason.
I got to say, I wish I'd seen this show, this specific show,
draft.
before a few of my drafts, man. Great content from everybody.
Can I interest you in one more?
Please.
Yes,
because
please.
I think there's a guy who Brandon just described all these traits to finish as a top 6 tight end. He said, except for the quarterback. Now, this is a guy who has all those traits, has the quarterback. 2 of their wide receivers this year, one is out for the season, one is not expected to come back until maybe midway through the season. They are a dark horse team to win the Super Bowl, and this tight end is going undrafted right now. This tight end last year, who kind of broke out, Cade Otton of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, could be, everyone is so high on Emeka Egbuka that it almost blinds the lights on anybody else in that receiving core. And I think that there is a world where Emeka Egbuka is not a top 15 wide receiver.
How
right from
dare
the jump.
you? How
I
dare
know.
you,
Shoot,
Brendan?
all
I thought
the
we were
fantasy guys come in with
simpatico.
pitchforks, but there is a
Gosh,
world where he
betrayed.
is not the wide receiver one, Justin Jefferson immediately that everyone thinks he's going to be. And Cade Otton, I think, is a great value on a great offense. And they showcased him last year, especially in the red zone.
Yeah, look, Cade Otton, black box prospect, like I've talked about before a couple times on the show, didn't test. He never leaves the field. He is always there. If it's PPR or tight end premium, take him as your tight end too, and that's fine. He has to run so clean to get into the top, to get into that like top 8. I don't know if he has the athletic profile to get, because we don't know his athletic profile. Maybe he does. So hasn't done it yet, but he's doing like we talked about with Chig. He is getting better every year. So would I be surprised if it happened? No, I wouldn't.
You remember when Godwin went down last year? What happened to Cade Otton's game? He was an every week starter.
He was.
Obviously, Godwin probably won't be in until week 2, 4, maybe even 5. He's a guy that I think you grab early right now. You get him on your team, and maybe he's a guy that you trade because I do think that Igbuka is going to creep into the targets as the year goes on. Godwin's going to get healthier. I don't think Cotton. What was that? Dodgeball?
Yeah.
I forget that line.
Bold call, Cotton.
Bold call, Cotton. I love that. Yeah, so Cade Otton or C. Otton, when you look at him, I don't want him as my tight end in the playoffs. But I think for the first handful of weeks this year, he's
while
a
you're waiting for a Tyler
asset.
Warren to emerge.
Exactly.
Something like that.
And you can probably get a nice piece for Otton because he got traded in a couple of our leagues last year before Jalen McMillan started to come on, which is another name that has just disappeared this year, but it sounds like he's got some injury issues.
Out for the year, yeah.
Yeah. So, listen, we're nearing the end of the show. I want to have a little bit of fun here because I actually had to put our penalization or punishment. That's the word. I had to put our punishment on pause because we might have some problems with YouTube. So you guys are going to have to give me one more week to dial this punishment up. I think we can still do it. Well, YouTube's got some policy stuff. So, again, nobody will be hurt. Nothing like that. It'll be fun. But I need another week to dial it in to make sure that we can play it on this and we don't get shut down for it. But real quick before we get off, I want to talk about what is your favorite type of league. Brendan, I'll start with you. Whether it's PPR, keeper, dynasty. Actually, let's just keep it at that. Redraft, keeper, or dynasty. Which one?
I think keeper is the best way to do it, I'm going to say, because the draft is, people say, oh, it's only 40% of the thing. I think it's 80% of the fun of a fantasy football league. You get to see your friends you haven't seen in a long time.
It's a men's book club, bro. Men's knitting club. That's how we stay together as we get older.
And you still get the fun if you keep. I have leagues where I keep one person. I have leagues where I keep 3. You get to still have that element of.
And you can just keep them anywhere, just your first 2 picks.
Yes, that's what I have a keeper where I have one where you can keep them anywhere, and that's just your guy. And then the other one, it's based on value. You keep a guy that you picked in the 6th round last year. You lose your 6th round pick for that year.
So the way we do it is we have a 3 and a 5 rounder. So if let's say you get a guy in the 10th, you can keep him in the 7th this year. And then if you have somebody else in the 18th and you want to keep him as well, then you get to keep him in the 13th this year. So we do that. That's our 24-year-old league. Shout out Daniel Brumar, our loser from the Fantasy Jerks spinning wheel, but he got into that league, got a spot for him there. So he's learning all about the keepers. He got a chance to keep 2. What about you? Keeper, redraft, or dynasty?
Well, there's only one I really don't like, and that's IDP. But no,
This was not the question, jerk.
No, I'm a dynasty guy.
Yeah, hell yes.
Through and through.
Hell yes.
It's the player evaluation. It's the being wrong about guys, the being right about guys, the being kind of okay about guys. And dynasty really keeps you in the cycle.
All year.
Yeah.
Well, and to add on to that, if you've never played in dynasty, they're all a little different. But the league that him and I were in for many, many years together, and he's got another one very similar, and actually the league that you hear Stick and I rant and rave about, that league we have a rookie draft 1 month after the actual rookie draft. 7 rounds. Toilet Bowl gets the first pick in every round. Champ gets the last pick in every round. And you keep those guys for 5 years. But then in August, we have a free agency auction. And it's just the players coming off of their contracts or players that were picked up during the waivers during the season. You get your restricted rights on those guys, but you get fake money, $200 every year that carries over to buy those guys. And then veterans you keep for 3 years. I know so much more.
It's some real nerd shit.
It is. It is some fantasy nerdery. But what I know is that I have an advantage on all of my competitors in redraft leagues because it's their first time looking at these rookies. I've known these rookies well because of this draft. I'm looking at them in December and January and February, and I'm getting excited for those combine numbers.
You get a leg up.
Yeah, and when you know who those guys are in May, you're crushing your dynasty or your redraft.
Sometimes though, but sometimes it taints you. Like
yes,
because like you can go too rookie,
love, bro.
Yeah, because you get too rookie heavy. Which
Shout out Pat Sacco.
Yeah,
loves to fall in love. Kristen Michael.
Right.
Kristen Michael. He had him in every league, man. I thought he was going to be the truth, too. But, yes, you could definitely be guilty of falling in love with a guy and prioritizing them in your redrafts.
Jalen Wright.
That's a good one.
Loved
him last year, huh?
Yeah, sure did.
What about you? Ryan, have you done a dynasty? Are you a keeper guy, redraft? Keep it easy or what?
I've never done a dynasty. I just hear bad things about dynasty leagues.
You mean because, like, the guys fight?
Because I think it's mainly because they suck in the league and they just hate it.
Losers.
So
they were complaining about their team.
Yeah, pretty much. and sometimes they get stuck with like bad rookie class. I don't know, but I personally like just keepers leagues. I like just 1 to 2 players to keep, and you just kind of go from there. Yeah. So I'm more of a keepers guy.
This might be a generational thing, buddy.
Yeah,
we just love the draft. You know,
but we have 2 drafts a year. We have a rookie draft and a rookie and a free agent auction.
Right.
We get to be together twice, and neither one of them is like 8 hours. We got 7 rounds and then 10 rounds of nominations.
What if you don't want to
double your pleasure, double your fun?
Right.
What if you don't want to see people?
Well, there is phoning in from home.
Oh yeah, that's what makes Sleeper and all these new. Remember phoning? Like when you couldn't make the draft and people would be on the phone.
Oh yeah, and you'd just be like, okay, this is the last pick. Oh man.
Hey Ryan, do you know what a phone is?
No, I don't know a phone at all. I made this joke. So back in my renovating pools tile day, which was like a year ago, but
last summer.
Last summer. But we made a joke because we were going to Waterford and we saw a payphone, and my boss was like, gosh, I don't know how old he was. He's like 55, 60 years old. He's like, yeah, that's a payphone, Ryan. And I was like, yeah, that's funny. Like, I've never seen that. Literally, on my way to the family function, I saw that same exact payphone. I think that is the only payphone that I've ever actually I've seen 2 payphones in my life, and that's it. And
do you think you could use a payphone if you were stranded? Could you figure out?
You would
how
have to have
use
a cord. Could you plug your device, like your smart device, into it?
You tie it. All you do is tie a string around a corner, put it in, and then pull it right out.
What's it?
Sorry. I was.
You have to carry change to do that.
Do you carry change?
Do they take Venmo?
They do.
No, they don't.
Ask
They don't.
Michigan Bell.
They don't take Venmo at all. But no, I don't. Gosh, I probably wouldn't know how to figure it out if I'm being completely honest. I bet you I wouldn't be able to figure it out because if all you gotta do is put the coins in and then you dial the number. Is that how it works?
Dial the number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to know somebody's number.
Without your cell phone.
You don't. I don't know either. Call me red-handed.
The only numbers that I know by heart are my mom and dad's. That's the only numbers by heart that I know.
945.
Down. You can't say it on the air.
I remember yours,
enough.
bro.
I know yours. I still know phone numbers.
But like since I got my cell phone, like in the last 15 years, I don't know any of those numbers. But everything before,
so the phone number's
numbers.
a thing you type in at a gas station or at your Kroger when you're buying groceries.
Exactly.
The Ski Mask Boy. I have never played fantasy foosball. Ski Mask Boy, honestly, we appreciate you. You're all over every show all the time. We appreciate your support. Fantasy football, and this is a message to all the wives and girlfriends out there. The wives and girlfriends that hate that one day of summer that your husband or your boyfriend gets together with the guys. It is a men's knitting club. It is a men's book club. I mean, the guys that I went to college with that I didn't talk to, maybe but once every other year, we talk to weekly, if not daily, because of fantasy sports. It is a great connector. It's not gambling. It's like putting $20 into a pool or $100 into a pool to play poker with your buddies. You're not playing the casino. You're not playing the line. You're playing one of your friends each and every week for bragging rights, for shit talk, and yeah, a little bit of money at the end. But I'll be honest, we paid up in our league that I share with my buddy, and we didn't even realize that we still had our winnings carried over. We didn't even cash out on. It's all about that ring, baby. It's all about
the bragging rights.
It surely is. Hey, we got some bragging rights. I got some for being the highest projected team in the Fantasy Nerds. But as I was telling young Justin Satawa, the guy who's number one week one rarely, if ever, wins. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this thing breaks down. Appreciate everybody for joining us today. We're going to get you out of here pretty much on time. Next week, we might start at 8 o'clock. We'll let you know in advance. Shout out to Fantasy Point. Shout out to Joe Dolan, my man Brendan in the booth, Ryan making us look good. Mr. Kaz, how you feeling, buddy?
Fantastic. Anson, what are you doing week one?
Well, that's a great question. Week one, we will be at Second Best downtown for a live watch party. Darren McCarty will be joining us for the watch party. And then, of course, myself and KG. Year 5.5. Year 5 of the Lions postgame, Second Best bar, right downtown, walking distance from the stadiums. Maybe you could come join us.
Yeah, I'm going to be on my couch. I'm not going to go anywhere.
Doing dad stuff?
Watching football.
I love when the Lions don't play the first game because I can sit on my couch and watch little numbers tick in box scores.
That's right.
Okay, last thing. These guys were talking about it earlier today, and I was kind of a dick about it. I was a little bit of a jerk, we'll say. They were like, are you mad that they're something about the red zone, that they're not going to be playing commercials or they're playing commercials? I don't watch Red Zone. Do you?
I do.
You do?
Yeah, I do the NFL subscribe. The NFL app for the Apple TV is amazing, and I'll usually just have it on my iPad or something going with the games. Sometimes I'll just play it at the 4 o'clock or after the Lions game. Depends on what's going on or what games are on. Love it.
Red Zone?
I am a Red Zone guy. I am a guy who likes to watch
You're a two remote guy.
Right. I'm a multiple screen guy is what my point was going to be. I will wheel my TV into my parents' living room.
Oh, multiple big
if that
screen.
needs to be.
Brendan's a baller.
If that needs to happen. I will have multiple screens on, so there's too many games to just watch, oh, this is the touchdown from 2 minutes ago at the Jaguars game, and then no. I want to watch Bryce Young's full drive, and then I'm going to switch over here, but then I got Red Zone in the corner, show me everything I missed.
Okay, I get that.
It's
I'd rather see it in the box score.
At the Bomberito household on a football Sunday.
I bet it is a good time. I'm a big fan of Bomber and just a couple of months of him being here. What about you, Ryan?
I'm a multiple TV guy when it comes to March Madness. When it comes to football, like NFL, not really.
But you're a Red Zone guy. I know that.
Red Zone because I can just sit there. There's no commercials, and it just going. And at CMU, I forgot what the exact package was, but you could buy, if you subscribe to something for $5 a month, you're able to get free NFL Red Zone for like a month. So we just, as a house, there were 6 of us, we just individually bought the package every single month.
I got December.
And that was the move. That was the move for, and then you could stream Easton, obviously.
I love free shit, Ryan. I gotta be honest. And you know what? This show is free to you guys each and every Wednesday night. We appreciate you so much. We will return next week with in-season fantasy advice, finally. But we hope that we helped you select a great team, and we hope to help guide you to a championship because the draft is only 40%. It is a grind. You got to stay on it all year long, and we're here to help you do that. On behalf of Brandon and myself and the guys in the booth, this is Fantasy Jerks. Enjoy your Wednesday night.
Have a good week one, Joikes.